Hello, my name is Tia Code, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the introduction to the criminal justice system. I'm going to be talking about things that I found interesting throughout my paper and throughout this course. I'm going to be talking about different people and how they play different roles, the Uniform Crime Report, the things that go into the criminal justice system throughout their time in there. This has been a very interesting class for me, and I'm excited to share that with you. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the components of criminal justice. This is made up of police, courts, and corrections. These are the three things that make up the criminal justice system. In the next couple slides, I'm going to get a little bit more in depth with exactly what each of them do and how they play a part. Alright, so here I'm going to talk about the primary responsibilities of police. As you know, police officers are here to serve and protect. They're also here to investigate crimes, maintain order, protect the people, obviously enforce laws, and arrest individuals who need to be arrested who are violating the laws. They're here and they play a large role in the criminal justice system. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the primary responsibilities of court. So just like police officers, court go hand in hand. Obviously, police officers arrest people, and then there is other steps after that happen. So in the court jurisdiction, there's a judge, there's a public prosecutor, and there's also a defense lawyer. So these are all people that play a role into the criminal justice system. Obviously, the judge does the sentencing, the defense lawyer defends the individual who made the crime, and the public prosecutor also defends somebody who may need them. So there's a lot of these people that play big roles into courts, obviously right here, these people, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that are behind the scenes as well that play a role in the courts, like bailiffs and things like that, but these are the three main things. Alright, so just like police officers and court systems, the correction aspect of it plays a large part as well. They're mostly here to reform, rehabilitate, and also to protect. Reforming and rehabilitating, I think, are the largest roles that the correction does play. Being, if they don't do those things, these people years later get released and they don't know how to act in the world that we live in because they weren't taught properly. I also say protect because it keeps them off the streets and it keeps them obviously away from people and harming them, and it gives them time to rehabilitate themselves and learn that this is not what they should be doing, and it gives them a chance to learn how to actually act as a normal citizen. But I think corrections for me, once obviously the courts and the police officers take care of what they have to take care of, I think that they play probably one of the largest roles, making sure that these individuals actually reform and rehabilitate so they can be functioning individuals in the society. Alright, for me, I feel like there is a lot of things that are more negative than positive in the criminal justice system. I feel like obviously these things right here, most of them are negative rather than positive. I feel like funding is the #1 issue that we have because that leads to over-incarceration and jails that are jammed up, and these people aren't getting the treatment that they need. Therefore, there's recidivism, and they're just going back out into the streets and creating, more problems because they didn't get the help that they needed when they first went in because the funding wasn't there. One of the things that I think is efficient is intervention. I think that now they're starting with juveniles a little bit more to intervene before it becomes a problem. And then I think the 3 strikes law is something that also has been effective. Obviously, you can't commit a felony more than 3 times, or, they just make it so you stop doing what you're doing and they take care of it and they nip it in the butt before it becomes a bigger issue. I'm glad that there's a little bit more intervention now, especially with juveniles, because obviously that's our world. That's who's going to be taking over when we get old and who's going to be taking care of us, and we have to make sure that these kids get the right guidance that they need. And I think that has a lot to do with funding, and obviously we're short on funds, but I think that early intervention is something that's going to be very beneficial for us in the future. Getting rid of this over-incarceration because of this intervention that falls back on the funding. Uniform Crime Report is something that was interesting to me. It's mapped up of police officers all throughout the United States who report to the FBI different crimes and different things that may have happened. The only problem is with this, not all crimes are reported, so it's a little bit inaccurate, unfortunately, because obviously not everyone feels comfortable going to the police, or they feel a little indifferent, so not everything is reported. Say if there was a murder and there was an assault and a rape that led up to it, they're only going to pick one of the things rather than all three of the things that had occurred at that time. So they probably take murder over rape and assault, and that would kind of throw off the uniform crime report as well, because there was other crimes that had taken place, but they weren't reported because murder topped over all of those other crimes. So uniform crime report is something that's interesting and helps us gather and have a little bit more information on what's going on in the world and how things are, but it is a little inaccurate, unfortunately. But if we didn't have this, we wouldn't have any justice of how things are going, or what's going on in the world, or what states have the highest crime or which states don't. So this does give us kind of a little bit of an idea of what's going on, but unfortunately it's not 100% accurate. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the progression through the system. There's quite a few different things. Obviously, it's going to start with an investigation. They're going to try and figure out what's going on, who did what, and gather evidence to make the arrest, which is going to be the next thing, to get that person in custody, and then they're going to take it to the prosecution. So that's going to be the judge, the jury, well, I should say the judge, the prosecution, the indictment's going to be the sentencing that they're going to get. After that, they're going to get an arraignment, and they're going to figure out what's going to happen, where they're going to go. They could even get pretrial detention. And then plea bargaining, if they decide that, okay, well, we'll give you this sentence if you give us this name for this drug dealer, or we'll help you out here if you do this for us. Then they're going to do the trial, if they don't come up with a plea bargain. And then after that, the actual sentencing will happen.